Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. Today I wanted to talk about what I've been reading a lot about, which are makeup trends expected to take stage for this year. Often when I look at these trends, they're not typically geared towards our age group. And so today I wanted to take a look at the anticipated trends for makeup and see if this is suitable for our fabulous over 50 group. Let's get started. What I like about the upcoming anticipated trends are that a lot of them will work for over 50. And so what I did is I went ahead and collected a bunch of makeup that I already own, and I thought I'd show you it and how I think it could be used to support these upcoming trends. First up is Barely There blush. We're looking at a trend now where we're going to give up some of those bright, dark shades, too much glitter, shimmer, and replace that with far more subtle blush, shimmers, and paler tones, more muted tones. Now, this is a trend I can get on board with because for my mature skin, I find that the more natural shades just look far nicer on me. Blushes that are too bright and are kind of overkill on the shimmers, they don't work so great with my more mature skin. Let's take a look at some blushes that I currently own that I think would fit in terrifically with this 2025 trend. Here is a palette that I actually put together myself from MAC. All of these colors are very natural looking. There are pinks and corals and beiges, but they're all very subtle. Some of them have subtle shimmers. Taking a closer look at the colors, this one here is called Prism, and it does have a very subtle shimmer to it. When I wear this, I don't bother with any highlighter. It just has a really nice light-catching shimmer on its own. And this one here is called Prism. It's a matte shade. I really like wearing these when I have a red lipstick look. I prefer to keep my cheeks quite subtle when my lips are sort of taking stage. This one here is called Spellbinder. It's a beautiful shade of coral pink. It looks a bit bright in the pan, but actually when you apply it, it's very subtle. It was from a holiday collection. I don't think they have this anymore, but I do love this one. This one here is very popular. This is called Blush Baby, and as you can see, I like it as well. I'm almost halfway through my pan. But again, it's a very subtle, pinky, mauvey, very wearable blush. This one here is another very popular MAC blush, kind of like Blush Baby. This one's called Melba. It has more of a beigey, orangey tint. This one here is far more pinky mauve. And finally at the bottom here is Fleur Power, and this again, very subtle pink shade. So for me, if we're talking 2025 trend of blushes being very subtle, very light, I think I've got it all covered with these shades. Next trend up, pale nude lips. Now, I can totally get on board with this. I love the look of pale pinks, earth tones, but one thing I'm not gonna be giving up on the pale lip look is the lip liner. I do, with my mature lips, always like to have a lip liner that is darker than my lipstick. So if this trend is a nude lip without lip liner, sort of all natural, that might work for some over 50, but for me, it's a no. It has to be included with a darker lip liner. To rock this 2025 nude lip look, I'm going to start with two of my favorite lip liners, and those would be these ones. They're both from MAC. I'll be using Spice with some of my nude lips that are more in the beige family. And when I'm using nude lips that's more in the pink family, I'll go ahead and use my Whirl. So I'll put the lip liners on first, and I'll show you some lipsticks that I think would be a great match. The first one up is a pretty new lipstick. It's called Thanks, it's MAC. And I think it would look absolutely great with the Whirl liner. I do have other lipsticks from MAC that I would definitely use to achieve this nude lip look, but I'm not going to show them to you because they're kind of just, almost finished, and it just doesn't look as pretty as the Thanks, it's MAC one. They would include colors like Blankety, Creme Cup, maybe Velvet Teddy. All of these would be great. They're all very nude lip looks from MAC. So whether the new 2025 lip trend anticipation includes gloss, I'm not sure, but I will be adding gloss as my over 50 twist. So lip liner first in a darker color, then my lipstick, and then my gloss. I like to apply the gloss just to the center of my lips here. It just catches the light, just adds some dimension to my lips. I do have 2 lip glosses in mind that I think would look great with this nude lip look. And the first one is from, surprise, MAC, and it's called See Through. The other gloss that I have that I think would look terrific with a nude lip that's maybe a slightly darker shade would be one of my favorite glosses from Bobbi Brown. It's called Crushed Oil Infused Gloss, and this one here is called Sweet Talk. Next up on the trends is eyeshadow. One and done shimmery eyeshadow. Now, I'm not sure if I can get on board with that. I can get on board with the shimmer. I can't get on board with the one. I need at least 2, hopefully 3 different shades before I can sort of consider my eye application of shadow to be finished. I need mattes. Lots of them to begin with, and then I only highlight with a shimmer. So for me, a one and done shimmer shadow, that's just not going to work for me personally with my over 50 skin. I like to use my eyeshadow first to camouflage my hooded eyes, and that's definitely going to require matte eyeshadows. I never put any kind of shimmer on my upper lid here, so this one and done shimmer just wouldn't work for me. I love a little shimmer on the inner eye here, in the center of the lid here, in the corners. That will be wonderful. As far as the one and done eyeshadow goes, I think that's going to be a no for me. I do have an eyeshadow in my collection that I think would be a great addition to anyone who is interested in a one and done look with a shimmer shadow. It's the Bobbi Brown Long Wear Cream Shadow Stick, and the color I have is golden pink, and it's very nice. I will use it for a shimmery look, but as I said before, I'll only be using it in the corner of my eyes here, on my lid, maybe in the inner corner there, but I wouldn't be using it all over my lid as a one and done. This is an example of my daily eyeshadow look. You can take a look at my previous video and I show you how I achieve that look. It always includes a shimmer, and the shimmer it typically includes is Naked Lunch from MAC. A new palette which I've started using and love it and will be using on a daily basis is this one. It's my Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt palette. You can check out my other video in terms of how I use it. The Natasha Denona Mini Sculpt palette is beautiful, but it is all matte. And I typically like to add a little bit of shimmer to my inner eye. So it wouldn't be the one and done, but I would use the Natasha Denona palette and then perhaps add some shimmer from one of her other palettes just for the corner of my eye to add that little bit of highlight and pop. Next up is a Frosty look trend, which I believe includes makeup on the face as well as the lips and eyes. Now, when it comes to the face, I'm not sure that I'm that thrilled about a Frosty trend coming up. I don't know that that's going to work for my over 50 skin. I do like shimmers and highlighters, but I prefer something more subtle than what Frosty brings to mind for me. Now, as far as the lips are concerned, the 80s teenager in me jumped for joy because I still love Frosty lipsticks. I don't put Frosty lipsticks all over my lip anymore, but I use them all the time. I put on a regular matte lipstick and then I just add some of my Frosty lipstick, kind of like I do with the gloss, right just in the center of my lips. So I've been using the frosted lipstick all along. So either I'm a trendsetter or I don't have to do much more. I'm already sporting the 2025 look. An example of a Frosty lipstick that I love to use would be, once again, MAC in the color Angel. I really do love adding a dab of Angel in the center of my lips as I described, and it just gives my lips a little bit of light reflection and adds some dimension. Next up is brown mascara. Now, I really like this one. I used to have brown mascaras and I kind of switched to black, but just hearing about this trend possibly coming up makes me want to go out and buy myself some browns. Brown does look very nice if you're just looking for a more natural look. The black, yes, it does showcase your eyes more, but the browns can be very nice when you're looking for something more natural. I do often reach for my brown eyeliners. I wear brown on the bottom of my eye almost daily. Typically, I choose black for the top, but if I'm just wanting something a little more natural, I do go with brown for the top as well. I thought I'd show you one of my favorite liquid liners that is in brown. It's this one here. It's called Art Liner by Lancome. That would be really nice paired with some dark, deep brown mascara. I think that would be a great look. I'm on board with that one. Next up, return of powders. Now, with my more mature skin, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It depends what kind of powder you're talking about. Powders can make my skin look dry. It can actually make my fine lines and pores show up more than I would prefer. But it does very much depend on the powder. For me, though, the modern powders are much more lightweight and forgiving than some of the previous ones. And so I've been really happy with the powders. I'll show you an example of some of the powders I use on a daily basis and I will be continuing to use. I don't know that I'm going to add anything new to stick with the trend because I kind of think I'm already on the trend. First up is my finishing powder. I love this one. It was from a Prince collection. But yeah, I use this every day over my foundation using a flat brush, and it's not too heavy. It doesn't stick in my fine lines and pores. I love it. Next up is a daily powder that I use every day under my eyes to set my concealer, and that would be this one here. Very go-to reliable product. It's the NYX Mineral Matte Finish. Finally, if I want to brighten up my final makeup look, I add a bit of this. This is MAC's Mineralized Skin Finish. I have this one in Light Plus. I love it. It's very lightweight. I don't think it would put me in the Frosty category of the other trend. I think I'd be missing that trend because this is too lightweight. It does add a little bit of glow to my skin, but nothing that would put me in the Frosty category. So again, I think I'm working it well with the powders. Next up is the smoky eye trend. I thought this trend was still here, but I guess maybe it left and I missed the boat, but apparently it's a new trend for 2025. Anyhow, okay, that's a great trend. I really like a smoky eye. I don't think I'll be using sort of the black, really dark smoky eye for me, but I do like smoky eyes, especially if I'm getting dressed for a night out. So I'll be using more of the dark browns, the mauves and burgundies to get that smoky eye look as opposed to using black shadow. That's just a little too harsh on my skin, but I know it does look beautiful on others. So again, I think that would work for over 50. So as far as the trend goes, I think smoky eye looks terrific on over 50, and whether you use the black or not just depends, I guess, on your skin tone and how you like to wear your shadows. I have a palette here which I will be using and that I think will be perfect for my 2025 smoky eye look, and that would be this palette right here. It's the Connect and Color palette from MAC in Future Flame, and it does contain the dark browns and burgundies and dark plums that I can create a smoky eye look with. It doesn't include blacks. As I said, they're a bit too dark for me. So that's it for the makeup trends of 2025 and how I feel I can make them work for my 57-year-old more mature makeup routine. It was fun showing you some of my current makeup items, and I'm sure I'll be adding more to stay on trend. Trends are fun to explore, but we all know at the end of the day, it's all about what makes you happy and feel beautiful. If you enjoyed the video, I would love for you to subscribe and join this over 50 community. Take care. Bye.